Have you ever wondered what would happen if the Earth simply stopped spinning? Not slowed down, not over thousands of years. Stopped. Right now, at this very second. It sounds impossible, but the consequences would be beyond anything humanity has ever experienced. Here's the terrifying part. The Earth spins at nearly 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. Even if the planet stopped instantly, everything not firmly attached to it would keep moving at that incredible speed. Cars, buildings, trees, people, even the oceans. Imagine the atmosphere itself becoming a weapon. A wall of air moving faster than many bullets would tear across the planet, flattening entire cities in seconds. Skyscrapers would crumble like sandcastles. Highways would vanish beneath flying debris. Anyone caught outside wouldn't even have time to react. This wouldn't be a hurricane. It wouldn't be a tornado. It would be the atmosphere trying to keep moving while the Earth beneath it had already stopped. And this would only be the beginning.
Now imagine surviving that first disaster. You'd think the worst was over. It isn't. Earth's rotation doesn't just affect the air, it also shapes our oceans. Right now, the planet's spin pushes trillions of tons of water slightly toward the equator. That's why Earth isn't a perfect sphere. It's actually a little wider around the middle. Remove that spin, and gravity takes over. The oceans would begin an unimaginable migration toward the North and South poles. Entire coastlines would disappear beneath colossal floods. Some regions would drown beneath kilometers of water. Meanwhile, huge stretches of the ocean floor around the equator would slowly emerge as completely new continents. Imagine looking at a world map and barely recognizing your own planet. The Earth you've known your entire life would be gone. But now comes the part that almost sounds like science fiction. Even if Earth stopped spinning, it would still orbit the sun. That means one sunrise and one sunset would take an entire year. One side of Earth would face the sun continuously for 6 months. Temperatures could climb above 100 degrees Celsius. Oceans would evaporate. Forests would ignite. The ground itself would crack beneath unbearable heat. Meanwhile, the opposite side would spend 6 months in complete darkness. Temperatures could plunge below minus 100 degrees Celsius. Everything would freeze solid. 2 worlds, one burning, one frozen. But here's something incredible. Between those two extremes would exist a narrow moving band where temperatures might remain just right for life. A tiny ring where survival could still be possible. And that changes everything. There's another problem, one you can't even see. Deep beneath our feet lies a massive ocean of molten iron. As Earth spins, that liquid metal helps generate our magnetic field. Think of it as an invisible force field protecting every living thing on this planet. Without it, the sun becomes far more dangerous. Powerful solar radiation would slam directly into Earth's atmosphere. Over time, the ozone layer would weaken. More harmful radiation would reach the surface. The skies would slowly become hostile to life. This transformation wouldn't happen overnight. It would take thousands, perhaps millions of years. But once it happened, recovering would be nearly impossible. Earth would begin looking less like the vibrant blue world we know, and more like a cold, lifeless planet drifting through space. Almost like Mars. Now, here's the twist almost nobody talks about. Life is unbelievably stubborn. If Earth stopped spinning instantly, most complex life would almost certainly disappear. But what if the change happened incredibly slowly, over millions of years? Scientists believe evolution might actually keep up. Today, tiny organisms called extremophiles already survive inside boiling volcanic vents, deep beneath Antarctic ice, and kilometers underground where sunlight never reaches. Those microscopic survivors could become the foundation of entirely new ecosystems. And remember that narrow strip between eternal day and endless night? As Earth continued orbiting the sun, that habitable zone would slowly move across the planet. Plants, animals, perhaps even humans could slowly migrate with it. Civilizations might eventually exist on a world where the only safe place is constantly moving. Life doesn't always win, but it rarely gives up.
So the next time you're standing perfectly still, remember this. You're actually racing through space on a spinning planet at over 1,600 kilometers per hour. You just don't feel it. And honestly, that's probably a very good thing. Because if Earth ever stopped spinning, our world would become almost unrecognizable. But here's a question that's somehow even more terrifying. What if the sun disappeared for exactly 24 hours? No warning, no sunrise, just darkness. Would humanity survive? Let me know in the comments if you want that episode next. And if you enjoyed this journey into impossible science, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.